3, 2.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
And we're live. Oh, it's Saturday night. Let me stop. All right. Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel. Welcome to another video. This is your all-in review. It has been a crazy night. Let me just say, I did not expect this show to go for basically 5 hours. The show started off with the pre-show at 6 p.m. and it ended right at 10:59 p.m. Very odd the way it ended, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Anyway, I had some special guests here with me. I watched with my friends. I, like a good Samaritan, paid $40 to watch ALLIN because I wanted to support them and everything. Wanted to be a good kid tonight. So, with me, I have my friends. You guys have heard them before on the commentary, as well as other videos on Tyler Williams' channel. I have my friend Alejandro Leva.
Oof.
Shut the fuck. And Dane.
Yo, are we live?
I believe so. We also have another person, Alex, who may be joining in. You guys heard him for a Lucha Underground review before. He might be joining in a little bit later. But I got my two partners. We're going to talk about ALLIN. We just got off the show 5 minutes ago. Okay, immediate thoughts. Don't spoil anything, but like, what were your thoughts coming right off the show?
Like before it started?
Like,
Sure.
well, like coming straight out of the show versus, well, put it this way. Your thoughts before the show started versus your thoughts straight after the show ended.
My thoughts before the show started. This event's gonna suck major fucking
Oh
balls.
yeah, this
A lot
dude
of people are
had
gonna want that.
this dude had no fucking hope for this show. No hope
Dude,
whatsoever.
I wanted to see
You
it
were the
first.
biggest Debbie Downer when it came to this show. I was like, oh my god, at least want them to succeed. Like shit.
No, I wanted to see a train wreck.
Mm-hmm. And how about after? Do you think it was a train wreck afterwards?
I feel like it was a mixed bag. I feel like some matches were worth watching it for. A couple of matches, but I feel like the card as a whole could have done some work. But overall, when it was really good, it was really good, and that's all that matters, I guess.
How about you, Ale?
Before the pay-per-view, I didn't really care about the show, but after it was like, it's alright.
You were just laying aside. Well, I mean, for me, coming into this show, I've been to a lot of, this year and last year, I've been to a lot of independent wrestling events. So going into this, I was super excited, especially because I wanted to go to this show, but it sold out so fucking quickly. And I was really amped up for it. Coming out of this show, I can't say it was like the greatest wrestling event I've ever seen, or even the greatest independent wrestling show I've ever seen. But I will say, for what it was worth, I would say it's good. It wasn't all good, though. There were some things in the show that just left me scratching my head, but we'll get to those when we get to that. So that being said, let's get straight into the show. Let's start off with 0 Hour, the pre-show. Now, most of you probably have seen 0 Hour because that was on WGN America on television. For us, we were struggling to find ways to watch it because I do not have cable, so I do not. I was struggling. I was scrambling online to find it. I missed portions of the tag team match between the Briscoes and who were they facing?
SoCal Uncensored.
SoCal and Censor. Okay, did you guys catch most or all the match? I missed some of it.
I catch enough of the match to say that it's kind of a standard tag team match, pretty much. There were a couple cool spots here and there, but for the most part, it was just a standard tag team match.
Yeah, like it wasn't too much special, but like I said, I kind of came in at the very end of it, tail end of it, so I can't really give too much of my input on it. But I believe SoCal won the match, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
They
SoCal won
beat
the match.
Briscoes.
So yeah, that match kind of happened. Then we got to the over-budget Battle Royal. This I was really excited for, and I called this match. So in this match, we had Moose, Colt Cabana, Ethan Page, not Ethan Carter III, Ethan Page, Rocky Romero, Brian Cage, Billy Gunn, Austin Gunn, Jimmy Jacobs, Marco Stunt, Brandon Cutler, Punishment Martinez, Jordan Grace, and lastly, some fucking luchador. I really do not know.
You forgot Austin Gunn. You forgot Tommy Dreamer. You forgot Cheeseburger.
I was getting to them.
You forgot
Like 19 people, you're like...
I was getting to them. Plus, I didn't even.
You said lastly.
Listen, you know what? Fine. I did forget about those guys, but they were in the match too. And I did say Austin Gunn, by the way. So yeah, all those guys were in the match. It was a real. In the beginning, it was really kind of weird. Because, I mean, it wasn't like some Royal Rumble match. Like, literally, when it started off, everybody was basically at the side of the ring. And, like, 2 people came out. I don't remember who came out or what order, but, like, 2 people came out and everyone else was in the ring. Like, a WWE laid out Battle Royal. Everyone got in the ring. They were battling it out. People were getting tossed out left to right. I would say more so, everyone kind of had their spot. Like, I think everyone in this match had at least one spot where the spotlight was on them, which I will say was pretty unique. Huh?
I thought Moose was really impressive in this match.
Moose was pretty impressive in this match. Marco Stunt, he was the smallest guy, but I think he was probably the biggest standout out of all of them. Was that the guy with the afro, Marco Stunt? Like, I had no idea. Huh?
Brian Cage was fun.
Brian Cage was pretty cool as well. Rocky Romero, I'd never have seen Rocky Romero wrestle before. And we know our friend Franklin is a huge Rocky Romero friend, so getting to see him in the ring was pretty cool.
The whole shit with the guns was cool, both of them.
Oh yeah, the Billy Gunn and Austin Gunn, they crotch chopping each other and shit. Well, they weren't crotch chopping each other, but cross chopping everyone in the match and whatnot. Punishment Martinez was pretty unique, especially because I've never seen him wrestle before, but that dude I would say he was really the dominating factor of the match. He had the most eliminations, I believe.
Who?
Punishment Martinez.
Oh.
He was the really tall guy with the long hair. Colt Cabana was in here. He got the biggest ovation out of everybody at all spots because, you know, he's a native. Bully Ray. Oh my god, this guy annoyed the shit out of me in this match, but he's a heel, so I guess that was basically his that was his job.
Dude, I don't know. I liked him in this match.
Tossing people out of the ring, just overall. Then my baby Jordan Grace was in this match, and I had
made it to the final 3.
Listen, I was so happy to see her in this match. Now, I saw Jordan Grace for the first time ever a few weeks ago at a Evolve show in Philadelphia. And when I heard she was in this match, I was like, Lord, please, let's hope Jordan Grace wins this match. Now, I didn't really have hope that she was going to win, but I was like, she's going to make it to the final 3. And that she did. It was her, Colt Cabana, and Bully Ray. Now, before this happened, wasn't she the one who eliminated Brian Cage? Yeah, she eliminated Brian Cage.
Yeah, she did.
She lifted him up. She powerbombed him. This girl... If y'all do not know anything about this woman, you have to look her up and keep your eye on her.
She had him on his shoulder.
She is the epitome of a bodybuilder. Like this, like they say they like to amp up Dana Brooke. This girl was jacked and big and thick and just like, oh my god. So she did her thing. She was in the final 3. I believe she got eliminated by Bully Ray, and then it came down to Colt Cabana, Bully Ray. To which Bully Ray eliminated Colt Cabana. Everyone was booing. But then we forgot about this masked luchador. They thought he won. Forgot about this masked luchador who never got eliminated in the match because you go under the bottom rope. Everyone knows this already. And he eliminates Bully Ray and he unmasked himself, and it is Flip Gordon. Everyone who thought he was all out, he actually was all in the show the whole time. And is challenging Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor Championship later on that evening. And that was the end of 0 Hour. I would say it was I like the pre-show. I like the pre-show for what it was. Definitely one of the better pre-shows.
Without the over-the-budget Battle Royal, it would have been a bust. But since it had that, I think it was pretty decent.
Yeah, pretty decent.
I think like usually pre-shows have like, you know.
I have nothing bad to say about the pre-show, really, honestly.
No. This was that was an exceptional match.
But let's get straight into the main show. The opener, we have Maxwell Jacob Friedman, otherwise known as MJF, versus Matt Cross. First thing I thought was, holy fucking shit, they got Justin Roberts on the to announce this. Y'all do not know how excited I was to hear the sultry voice of Justin Roberts. He is my all-time favorite ring announcer. Just hearing him say The Undertaker and John Cena. And then, like, I believe he quit or was fired by WWE in 2014. So it's been 4 or 5 years since I last heard him. So when he just turned up and he was like, "This match is scum," I'm like, but anyway, I was in awe that he was there for a minute. It took me Then they came out. Now, I've been going to these independent shows in Philadelphia doing this House of Hardcore, ran by Tommy Dreamer. These two men frequent that independent show pretty often, so I was familiar with these men. I don't know if you guys were familiar with Matt Cross and MJF.
I only knew him as Son of Havoc.
You, Ale?
I know who Matt Cross is in Son of Havoc.
Yeah.
Not MJF. Never seen him wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, I never was really impressed by MJF when he was doing his work in House of Hardcore, but he impressed me here. He was doing some really good stuff in this match. He did like
You said he was your dude to win. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he was my pick to win because I knew him like the most. He really did nothing to impress me when he was in House of Hardcore, but he like did like a lot more flips and other things that he hasn't done before. That's why I was like, oh wow, all right, I've been sleeping on this guy. But there wasn't too much noteworthy that came out of this match other than Matt Cross hitting a beautiful looking shooting star press onto MJF for the pin. And yeah, that match kind of happened. It was the opener.
It was okay. Yeah.
It was a nice opener. Opening match.
It was alright.
It was alright. So then we get to the next match: Stephen Amell versus Christopher Daniels. I went into this match kind of worried and excited at the same time because I'm like, well, I don't know Stephen Amell be some great, professional wrestler. Yeah, I know him as the actor in Arrow. But
I know him as Casey Jones in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Or Casey Jones. But other than that, he's not a professional wrestler, and if he hasn't been doing it for a long enough time. So I was a bit worried for the man. But of course he's going into here with an in-ring professional like Christopher Daniels, so I couldn't have been that worried about him, you know what I mean?
He had professional experience.
Yeah. That the one thing I kept saying to myself was he does do his own stunts in Arrow, so I can't be that worried about him because he can flip around the ring if he wants.
He did wrestle SummerSlam once.
Yeah, I mean he did.
He wrestled in Ring of Honor before, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I guess maybe I was too worried for the guy because
he's
when you get pegged as a celebrity in wrestling, I feel like it's warranted for other people to get worried for you sometimes.
He did his job. He did it.
Well, the match happened. I will say it wasn't like knock your socks off, like, oh my god, Stephen Amell's the next coming of Jesus, or the next coming of Seth Rollins or something. But he didn't embarrass him. He didn't embarrass himself. I'll say that he did not embarrass himself. There were like a few spots here and there where you could tell this guy is definitely new to the ring. Like in the very beginning, they're having a chop fest, and Stephen Amell's chops look extra light. And I'm like, yep, you could definitely tell he's new to this. But
his fucking elbow drop through the table was actually really nice looking.
Oh yeah, it was. There was a table spot in here. He did an elbow drop onto Christopher Daniels. No, the way it was set up was so fucking weird though.
Yeah, it was because he landed on the apron and then he threw him.
Listen,
the table.
They were going for his Christopher Daniels about to superplex Stephen Amell outside the ring onto the table. Stephen Amell pushed him onto the apron. He fell on the apron, like bounced off, and then went directly on the table. I'm like, that looked so goofy. Like, yeah, way to expose the business. I mean, indie wrestling fans, I think, give lots of passes nowadays. But I'm like, okay. Had to turn my eye on that one. See if Mel did hit a beautiful elbow drop through the table. He hit a really nice counter because what is Christopher Daniels' finisher called? When he does that lifting butterfly face buster? What is it called?
The Fallen? No.
I do not know
Fallen
what
is his nickname, isn't it?
I do not know what it's called. We got like 11 people in watching this right now. So hey, what is up, you guys? If you guys know what Christopher Daniels' finisher is called, please comment down below because I cannot for the life of me remember what the hell it's called. Angel's Wing? I think that's what it's called. So we went for Angel's Wing onto Stephen, and he countered it with a Northern Light suplex pin, which was just really innovative. So hats off to him. Then as we get into closer to the end of the match, Christopher Daniels finished him off with a moonsault for the pin. And Christopher Daniels defeated Stephen Amell in this match. I was not expecting Stephen Amell to beat him, only because Christopher Daniels has been like a, 10, 15, 20-year veteran in the wrestling business. I'm like, yeah, Stephen Amell, the actor, the celebrity, yeah, he's not going to come in here and just beat Christopher Daniels. Maybe if it was like a low-tier wrestler, I could not, like, yeah, no, he's not beating Christopher Daniels.
I thought Stephen Amell was going to win, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't. He's too new. He's too new. Got to pay his dues. Gotta pay.
That was gonna win.
Just because he's part of Bullet Club doesn't mean he's gonna win. Wait. Yeah. Then we get on to the next match. The Fatal 4 Women's match. Tessa Blanchard versus Chelsea Green versus Britt Baker versus Madison Rayne. Britt Baker came out as Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Did not get the reference whatsoever. She came out to Adam Cole's old Ring of Honor entrance, which was pretty cool. It was a beauty seeing Madison Rayne for the first time. Listen, guys, I have not watched Impact Wrestling since 2011. So the last time I saw Madison Rayne wrestle was 2011. So it was really nice seeing her in the ring. As far as Chelsea Green and Britt Baker goes, I'm new to them. I do know a little something about Tessa Blanchard from her work in NXT and the Mae Young Classic.
Is it in Madison Rayne in Mae Young Classic?
She's in this year's Mae Young Classic, but she wasn't in last year's Mae Young Classic. Tessa Blanchard was in last year's Mae Young Classic.
I saw Tessa Blanchard fucking win a title last week on like Impact, so that's how I knew.
Yeah, she did win.
Yeah, she's a really talented girl, really talented wrestler. Anyway, this match was really, really weird. You know, props to the ladies. They were the only women's match on here. Can't say enough good things about the women's revolution, as WWE will shove down your throat.
Oh wait, it wasn't last week.
But I felt like this Fatal 4 was just really all over the place. I just felt like, I don't know how you guys, I just felt like it was. Like, one time they will all be in a ring. One hit a suicide dive. Then another hit a suicide dive right after her. Then another guy in the ring hit a suicide dive. Then Madison went to the top rope, hit across. It's like...
Wait, do you remember that moment where he, like, super kicks... One girl super kicks the other girl, and then they go try to pin somebody else, and you're like, why didn't they try to pin the one they super
Yeah, there were a few spots, and you're just like, what is... I don't feel like they know... I don't feel like they planned this out, or they know what they're doing. Like, I mean, I know what they're doing, but I don't feel like they really know what they're about to do next. Like, you don't know what their next move is going to be. They're kind of just going through the motions of the match. That's what I felt like when I was watching this. And, you know, of course, when you watch a wrestling match, you're not supposed to be thinking of, oh, is this planned out? What move is next? What's the... But you don't want to watch a match and feel like they don't... I don't feel like they know what they're doing right now. Because there were certain spots where they were all in ring. Because you know the Fatal 4-Way formula. You know, two people on the outside. Well, at least the WWE Fatal 4-Way formula. Two people on the outside, two people on the inside of the ring, battling it out. One person gets out, the next person comes in. Then one person gets out, the next person comes in. Then you have the buffer wrestler who comes in at the end to get the pin. That's really the WWE format. So, you know, maybe that was my mindset going in. And seeing them battle out this way where all of them were in the ring mostly at the same time, where all of them mostly outside the ring at the same time, was just really weird for me. And then, to top it all off, the ending of this match,
Oh, it's
I
in
don't
botched
know
as fuck.
if I don't know if this was I do not think this was planned because this just seemed so oddly placed. So let me try to remember. Wait, I have it written down, I think. Yeah, Tessa Blanchard hit her underhook DDT onto Britt Baker. And, you know, it seemed like it could be end of the match, but you're like, they're going a little bit longer. You know, if it was the end of the match, you'd be fine with it. So she hit her underhook DDT onto Britt Baker, goes for the pin, 1, 2, and you see Laurel come in and try to break it up, but she misses. She misses them entirely, and referee just hits 3. And when he hits 3, Tessa just looks so surprised by this. Not like happy that she looks surprised that she actually won the match. And then
that's because it looked like she was gonna get hit and it was gonna go on for a little bit more.
Yeah, but if you saw her face, you could tell like that doesn't look like it was planned out. And then the crowd, you look at the crowd, and the crowd were just standing there like, what?
Because it was a bad finish.
I think everybody was just confused because it just didn't seem like that was supposed to be the end of the match. Like I said, the match could have went on a little bit longer, and then because Laurel missed and the referee counted 3, that's when I was like, huh? Well, I think everybody was like that.
The ref even seemed confused because the bell didn't even ring right away.
And then to confirm all of this, they did not show they showed a replay of the finish, but they did not show a replay of the pinfall. That's when I was like, yep, that was not supposed to happen. That was totally not supposed to happen. Now, I could be wrong and I could be reading into this too much, but I don't feel like that was how the match was supposed to end. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Tessa Blanchard was not originally supposed to win the match, but if she was, I don't think that was supposed to.
She was.
That's not how the match was supposed to end.
It's just the ending was off sorts of. They were on some other shit.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'll pick it the worst match on the show, but definitely not the most favorable. We then get on to the next match. The NWA Champion. I will just say this placing of this match did not make too much sense to me.
The match.
This match had probably the most build outside of being the Elite. You know, you have the story being told here is you have Cody, the son of Dusty Rhodes, one of the most charismatic wrestlers of all time. Now, what do you mean what?
Hello.
Dusty Rhodes is one of the most charismatic wrestlers of all time. What do you mean what? Anyway, son of one of the most charismatic wrestlers of all time, Dusty Rhodes. And, you know, after Dusty Rhodes passed, Cody kind of goes off on his own and into the independent wrestling world where everyone thinks, oh, he's going to fail because, you know, he doesn't have his gimmick together and he's not the kind of a wrestler, so he's not going to make it. Well, here he is. He's part of the Bullet Club now, practically the leader of the Bullet Club. He's Ring of Honor champion like 2 times over, innovated a new title for the company, innovated a Ring of Honor ring, basically took over the company in a sense, then was in like Impact for a while, and he was basically a face of that company for a minute. Like, this is probably one of the hot commodities of independent wrestling. But the one thing he has not won is the NWA Championship that's been reestablished by Billy Corgan. So now that's the championship he has to chase down because that was the championship that his father once held. But Nick Aldis stands in his way. You know, Nick Aldis, this big bad heel. So the story being told here was really just a great story to follow if you've been following the career of Cody. Or even if you just tuned in, you can get a grasp for what was going on here. So I felt like this was tailor-made to be the main event. And when I found out that it was in the middle of the show and the third match, I was like, huh? Really? Like, I was saying to myself, like, I hope it's not the main event because I feel like even though Cody has improved, I still don't think Cody is that good of a wrestler. I just don't think I have never found him appealing as a performer. I just have not. And Nick Aldis, he's okay, but he's not my cup of tea. So I'm like, I don't know if these guys are going to have good chemistry. Hopefully it's not the main event, but maybe the co-main event. It was like the 4th match in, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But I didn't judge too much. Oh wait, Alex has joined us now, guys. Welcome, Alex.
I
I've been on for a while, but I just kept myself quiet.
Ah, well. We're on Nick Aldis versus Cody.
Alright then.
Cody came out. He had the star-making entrance here. He had his beautiful, beautiful wife, Brandy Rhodes, with him. She was... Oh my god.
Looking
she
great,
was
yeah,
fucking
as always.
slaying like always.
That's a woman. That's a woman.
Cody had some really good looking tights on here too. I really can't describe it well, except for it was like white with like some pink pattern, velveteen pattern. It was really good looking tights. But anyway, Nick Aldis, they battled out. The match was really okay, I guess. I can't really say it was anything like good or at least above good. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Without calling the spots, like, what do you think about the match? Like, it's a really weird match to rate, in my opinion.
Like, one of the moments I'm pretty sure all of us can agree on, was that moment where Earl Hebner did the X, and I'm like, oh my god, like Cody's did the X, you know what?
Oh yeah, that weird spot when Cody went to the top rope. Nick Aldis is on the outside. Cody went to the top rope, leaped on to Nick Aldis, but I think Nick Aldis either caught him with a punch to the face or an uppercut. He caught him with something. And Cody just falls to the ground. And Nick Aldis gets in the ring. Now, Cody's down for like a minute. Like, referee's counting. But he's not moving.
See his face too. Like,
but he's not moving. So referee gets out of the ring, check on Cody, and he's not moving. And the referee puts up the X, and we're like, what the fuck is what's going on? So, referee puts up the X. Now, the match seems like it's stopped. Everyone's standing up like, what the fuck's going on? Like, is this part of the show, or is the match ruined, or what? So, DDP comes down to the ring, and we're like, oh, shit. Then Daivari comes in the... I don't know what the fuck the point of the spot was. I think it was really just to buy time, honestly.
I think it was just for him to do the diamond cutter on him.
Yeah, Daivari gets in the ring. He's yelling at the referee like, no, count him out. What are you doing? Cody's on the outside of the ring. He's down. Count him out. He should not be doing this. And then DDP gets in the ring, gets with a diamond cutter. I'm sitting there like, what was the point of the spot other than they're buying time to make sure Cody's okay? Which I'm sure that's what the intention was. So now they're checking on Cody. Cody looks like he's gaining consciousness, so he's fine. Now, he goes underneath this, like, table for a second, and we're all saying to ourselves, is he about to blade or something? We see his face, and he's fine. Like, there's no marks, there's no blood. Then he puts his head right back under. We're like, he's about to blade. Comes back up, no mark, no blood. I'm like, okay, what was the point of that? So now he's in the ring. He's in the ring for at least like a minute or two. Next thing you know, he's back outside the ring. He gets near Brandy. Now, the camera doesn't show this, but if you have good peripheral vision and you're paying attention to what's going on, Cody's on the outside of the ring with Brandy. It looks like Brandy passes him something. Next thing you know, Cody's in the ring and he's bleeding. And I'm just sitting here like, how the fuck did he start bleeding?
Yeah, the cameramen seemed like they weren't in on it because they kept going back to him.
They kept going back to him, and it's like, why? I don't think you're supposed to do this because he's doing something. And by the time it happens, it's like, well, this doesn't make any sense. He literally, nothing was done to him for him to be bleeding. And to make matters worse, it wasn't even a blade job. Like, it was like some fake blood on him. And you could tell because the color was too bright. And on top of that, there was no cut on his face. So I'm like, well, that's definitely fake blood.
Yeah, and later on in the match, it stops bleeding altogether.
And then like 5 minutes later, it just stopped bleeding. It's like, yeah, that was completely fake.
Oh yeah, like you could tell that was fake because we've seen wrestling matches where they legitimately blade each other, but you see the blood keep on pouring and pouring. But in Cody's case, it dried up like that in the snap of a finger.
Yeah, Dane, you said something about maybe there was like some significance to that spot or something. I don't really know what the significance was.
I was saying that he was probably going for some sort of Ric Flair thing because he did the figure 4.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Remember, he tried to bring in like a classic bout from the 70s and the 80s because after all, they were facing off for the NWA World Title. So I think the flow of the match for them was that of 1970s and 1980s. He probably tried to make it similar to his dad versus Flair.
That could be my only guess. So then, towards the end of the match, Cody comes back. He hits his Paradise Kick. I really forgot what it's called, honestly. And then follows that up with Crossroads. Goes for the pin. Nick Aldis kicks out of 2.9. Crowd was just in shock here. I didn't think anyone would expect him to kick out of Crossroads. Then the end of the match came. They were going at it for a bit. Nick Aldis goes for like a sunset roll up. But Cody counters it. Like basically tucking his legs inwards. And he gets the pin. Cody gets the 3. I thought it was a little bit weird how it ended, honestly. But
yeah, I thought Nick Aldis was totally gonna win.
But Cody wins the NWA Championship. It was a very heartwarming and emotional moment for him. He started crying in the middle of the ring. Like, he wasn't, like, snotting all over the place and shit, but he started crying for a second. He had the disaster kick. Thank you, blank faces. He was crying. His wife... Oh, we forgot to name the spot where Nick Aldis went for an elbow drop onto Cody. And Brandy got into the ring and covered herself over Cody, so Nick Aldis hit her.
She got hit?
Yeah,
that's great.
Like, I was saying, like, yeah, she is definitely wifey material. Definitely wife material right there. And then when he won the title, she got in the ring, and she's smiling at him and saying, "You did it, you did it." I'm like, I need a wife like Brandy Rhodes. I need a wife like her. Not now. I'm not ready to get married or settle down, but I could use a girlfriend like Brandy Rhodes in my life. For real. Anyway, so he won the match. What were you guys' opinions on it? I felt like the way the story was told was, I mean, match-wise, I felt like it was weird. The match itself was just, but the story being told was great. If there was no story behind this match, I would definitely probably be crapping on this. But
I would say they tried, but that's all I'll give them is they tried.
Damn, just that they tried.
Well, I mean, it could have been a really good match. It's just like those big blunders really stood out. They really did. You can't say they didn't. That's why you're saying it's an awkward match.
Yeah, like I said, if there was no story behind this match, I would have probably crapped on this match, honestly. But
the pacing was good. I thought it was gonna be a good match at the beginning of it, but like with all the confusion that came with it, I was just kind of done at that point. I was like, yeah. Yeah,
so Cody wins NWA Championship. I don't watch NWA, so, I mean, it doesn't matter too much to me, but good for Cody. We then get to the next match. Joey Janela versus Hangman Adam Page. This was probably one of the better matches we've had since the night started. This is when the show started to kick up. What is that?
First of all, you know, we had the G.I. Joe Flip Gordon with Miss Rhodes once again.
Why are you skipping ahead?
Yeah, that's after this.
Oh, what show are we on then?
Hangman Page versus Joey Janela.
Oh my God! Honestly, I normally
just totally skipped the match.
Normally, I don't like hardcore matches, but this match was like a major exception for me. Normally, I'm not, you know, weapon-based matches, but I'll see it. But in this case, I was like 100% entertained from the match beginning to end.
Yeah, in the very beginning, they didn't do anything like too crazy. It was merely just them, like, you know, trading blows and doing dives. Let me just say, every fucking match someone did a dive, it got really annoying real quickly.
Oh, the generic suicide dive?
Yes, it was in every fucking match. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. It was so unnecessary.
I feel like everybody didn't talk out what their match was going to be, so everybody didn't know that everyone was going to use it.
Like, I'm not saying that everyone, like, used a suicide dive, because some people did planches, but every match, it was a dive. I'm like, come on. Even Cody doesn't do dives, but in this match, Cody did a dive. Joey Janela and Adam Page did dives. Then fucking, like, everybody. And then, like I said in the women's match, one person did a dive, then the next woman did a dive, then the next woman did a dive, the match where he did a fucking cross, but it's like, the fuck? Chill. Anyway.
They had that cool table spot.
They had this really cool chair. In the beginning, there was this cool chair spot where Heyman Page set up a chair, and he did a fall-away slam onto Janela, and he flung him straight onto the chair. It looked brutal. Janela took some shit in this match. Like, Janela gets all of my praise for the spots he took in this match.
Normally, I don't really watch any Ring of Honor wrestling. It's not my cup of tea, but, you know, seeing this match alone made me a fan of Joey Janela, because Homeboy can take a bump.
Yeah, like, when I first saw him in Evolve, I was like, meh. But after this match, I was like, alright, I'll give him some. Like, he ain't, like, the best wrestler I've ever seen or anything, but I gave him props because he took some mad shit in this match. Like, the chair spot. There was one spot where his valet Penelope Ford got involved. She got involved, like, twice in this match, honestly. So, first, she brought a bag into the ring. And we didn't get a glimpse of what was in the bag until a little bit later on. But she got kicked out of the ring by Adam Page. Second time she got in the ring, she slapped Adam Page in the face. You know, every valet has to slap the person in the face. Adam Page goes to strike her. She does a whole backflip. Like, just totally dodges it with a backflip. He then goes for again. She does two back. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Fucking Matrix? Then he went for again, and she did the fucking Melina Matrix on him. Like, you know how Melina used to do it back in the day? She used to go all the way back when somebody used to strike her, and then she would kick him. She did that, and then she did Hurricanrana. I'm like, okay. I wasn't expecting that. I haven't seen a girl wrestle before, but there's some talent in that girl.
I thought I saw her do some sort of, like, stunner or something.
She did do a stunner. She ended with Hurricanrana on the outside. And a crossbody. Like, she was showing off, even though she wasn't involved in this match anyway. Other than that. So, not outside the ring. They go up the ramp. What was probably the craziest fucking spot in the entire show. So, Adam Page sets up these two tables. They're on a ramp. Well, outside the ramp, I guess. Two tables outside the ramp. They go up the steps. They go further back. Joey Janela hits him with a clothesline at first. Joey Janela set up the tables.
Yeah.
He hit him with a far away, like, running clothesline. Adam Page gets him down. Gets him for a power. We all know what's happening here. He gets him for a power bomb, and he's about to launch him off the ramp down 12 steps onto the table. Now, I'm saying to myself, these tables look kind of far. I don't think he's going to hit both of these tables. He might just hit one of them, but I don't think he's going to hit both of these tables because he's kind of far from the table. I don't think he's that damn strong. He goes to launch him. And immediately, as he goes to launch him, you can tell this is not going to end well. Because Joey Janela, I think he kind of shifted too fast. And he just does not get all the momentum. And he just goes and his head smacks the first table. And that's it. He just smacks the ground. And everybody just got up and they were so scared. Because that bump looked insane. Like, you know, he was supposed to go through both tables. He barely went through the first table. His head went through the first table, but his whole body just hit the ground. And because he was on the ramp, you couldn't see the fall. So you were just sitting there wondering, like, is he okay? So we were sitting there wondering, like, is he okay for, like, a whole minute? Because we didn't see the fall, and we didn't see Joey Janela. We just saw Adam Page the whole time. So we get down there, and he's fine. Get back into the ring. We're like, I'm just sitting here like, they about to go to the finish of the match because I highly doubt this man is okay after that spot.
He still did good after that.
Little did we know, there was like 2 spots left. So they get into the ring. Adam Page is a buckshot lariat. He's about to finish him off, but Penelope gets to the ring, and she finally hands him the bag. In the bag is the boots. The boots that killed Joey Ryan. The boots have been haunting Adam Page, at least. If you don't watch Being the Elite, you're sitting here like, why the fuck is this man scared of a pair of boots? Which any non-wrestling fan would immediately question as soon as this came up. I am glad I did not show non-wrestling fan this match because they would say, what the fuck?
They showed it in the promo package, actually.
Yeah, they did. But if you just tuned into the match, my point being, you just see that spot, you're just like, what? He's scared of a pair of boots? But anyway, Joey Janela cuts him off guard. I don't remember what he hit him with, but then he gets a ladder in the ring. And then he gets another table, and I'm like, didn't you just go through like one table and barely hit it? Do you really want to go through another table? So he sets up the table, then a ladder. They go up the ladder. But now, in another bag is a phone. Now, I don't remember what the resemblance to the phone cord is. But he gets a phone, climbs the ladder with Joey, wraps the cord up around Joey's neck, and he's choking him for a bit. Then we see the table side by side, and we're like, what's going to happen? So, his finisher is the last strike, which is basically like a backwards tombstone, where, you know, your opponent is kind of behind you instead of in front of you, and you just drop them, basically, with your knees bent like a tombstone position. Well, he decides, I'm going to hit this move off a ladder through a table. And I'm saying to myself, I sure the hell hope he doesn't break his neck on the way down. So he hits the move, which is fucking insane that he actually hit him with that move through a table. He landed fine, so he's okay, but still. And he gets the pin over Joey Janela, because if he would have kicked out, I would have said, what the fuck. And Adam Hangman Page wins the match. After this match... oh, God.
After this match is like the fucking best match.
Hey, do you want to say? I'm about to get some water because my throat's kind of killing me right now.
Yep, I'm gonna say it.
Take it from here.
All right, ladies.
This last bad shit entertaining. That's all I can say is bad shit entertaining from top to bottom. Like
What?
honestly.
The next match, Jay Lethal.
Yes.
Yeah.
For both, because for me, at the ending, you know, are we still on Hangman and Janela, or are we done
We're
with Janela?
we're closing it out. We're closing that out. And we're
Oh
going
yeah,
on
like I said, for me, Joey Ryan, those dick guys, the dick druids made me laugh. But
the next match had like, do you remember the opening where he gets patted on the backstage?
Yep.
He's all ready to go out as Jay Lethal. Like, okay, he's just gonna be Jay Lethal, and he gets patted on the back, and he gets these sunglasses for like a second, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere comes out military Flip Gordon.
Yeah, with Brandy Rhodes, and Brandy Rhodes is looking excellent.
Hot as always.
Yep.
I'm back.
Yeah, and then once they make the entrances, you know, Colonel Brandy and Sergeant Flip, whatever military branch he's in, here comes the real entertainment.
Oh.
Freaking
Jay Lethal came out. He was tapped on the shoulder before the match started.
We did mention that.
Okay.
We already established that.
And he came out as the fucking Black Machismo. I immediately marked out because, like I said, the last time I watched TNA was back in 2011. And before that, I really watched TNA from like 2007, 2011. So like probably like a good 4 years. And I remember him as the Black Machismo, really. So when he came out, I marked out. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I did. I remember.
Everybody marked out because everyone at that time period, you know, would figure out Black Machismo. When they got bored of WWE, they would flip the channel and see, and they're like, oh, what's this? And I bet you anybody would point out who Black Machismo is. You'll be like, oh, look at this Macho Man Randy Savage cosplayer. He does it to perfection. And that's how I felt when I saw him. And you know what? The cherry on top was when Leapin' Lanny Poffo was with him at ringside, which made sense for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, these two, I would say, had the best match on the show.
Yep.
I thought it was.
Without a fucking doubt.
So okay, good.
Oh,
Is Ale,
yeah.
you still here? Or do you...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
did you
I know
agree?
there's gonna be a lot of people. I know there's gonna be a lot of people that would say, you know, another match. You know,
I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying the main event was the best, and I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but I definitely... We'll get to main event when we get to main event, but yeah, this I thought was the best match on the show. There was too many spots in this match to really call, unless you guys can remember any.
He was carrying fucking Brandy around.
Oh yeah, Jay Lethal got out of the ring, and I guess
Yeah, he would get out and grab her arm and pull her to different sides of the ring because she was
See,
so jealous.
The fact that he thought Randy Rhodes was Miss Elizabeth made me mark the fuck out. The first time he walked around her, I'm like, what's Machismo doing? And I see the mannerisms he does. I'm like, oh my god, he thinks she's Miss Elizabeth. This is perfect. No, he's going all black Machismo and shit. Then the final time he brings Randy Rhodes into the ring, Randy Rhodes looks like she's about to slap Jay Lethal in the face, but nope. What did she do? Boom, shoulder tap, and then
he's so
comes out-
confused.
And
He's like,
the crowd got so angry when that happened. They were booing the shit out of Brandy Rhodes. And that's when the match started. The match, there was just great stuff in this match. I can't pinpoint exactly what spots happened because I was really interested in just watching the whole spectacle. I mean, it wasn't no 5-star classic, but it was really good.
When he hulked up to fucking
Yeah,
Flip Gordon,
Flip Gordon started hulking up at one point during the match.
and he pointed at him like Hulk Hogan, and then he did the ear thing.
Flip, of course, was flipping all over the place. I mean, he wasn't being like a glorified spot monkey in this match, but he was. When he was doing flips, it was some really good shit.
Yeah. But also, what you forgot to mention with the Hulk up was when he was doing, the jabs. You could hear the fans boo because they're still salty about Hulk Hogan.
I don't know why.
I just think the thing about Flip Gordon in this match is, the flips didn't ruin the match because I think it really complemented Jay Lethal's style, which is not overly flips. Like, if he was facing somebody else that was doing all these same like flips, it would have been kind of annoying. But Jay Lethal's style just it balanced it out really well, I think.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So yeah, they were doing
definitely a balance.
Definitely a great balance. The finish came when Jay Lethal got wow, I forgot his name already. Got Flip Gordon onto the top rope. Well, they were in the middle rope technically. Hit a cutter off the middle rope and followed it up with the lethal injection on the Flip Gordon for the pin, retaining the Ring of Honor Championship. I really don't think anyone went into this expecting Flip Gordon to beat him, especially on.
I kind of did.
You thought Flip Gordon was gonna beat him?
A little bit.
No, I knew Flip Gordon was gonna be in the match. That was already a given. That was an obvious one that he was going to be an all-in as facing him for the Ring of Honor Championship. But winning, I mean, you could hope, but in reality, Jay Lethal was gonna retain.
Don't call me stupid.
He didn't call you stupid. He
I'm
just
kidding,
said
kidding.
you're wrong.
Exactly.
But anyway, that was probably the best match of the show. We didn't sell it very well in this interview as I think we could have. I think you actually have to just watch this to believe it.
Yeah,
It's
if there was a
an all-out
must-watch match, it was definitely this one. Then we get into the next match, which also I felt like was kind of oddly placed because the match that came after it, I felt like could have went before it. Kenny Omega versus Pentagon L0M. Otherwise known as Pentagon Jr., otherwise known as Pentagon Dark, or Pentagon, or whatever alteration of him you want to call it.
Until a zero. At zero.
Oh, L0.
Yeah. See, everyone here knew who was gonna win regardless because of reasons, but other way, this match was uber fast paced.
Yeah, from the get-go, these guys. Well, in the very beginning, these guys were kind of taunting each other for a second, and the crowd was just behind it entirely. Pentagon with the Cielo, Miedo, like throughout most of the match, and then Kenny finally slaps him, and then they start getting into it, and
Next review, I get to say the Cero Miedo because you don't say it right, buddy.
You can say it. You're
Zero
the
fear.
You're-
Shut up, Alejandro.
you're the Mexican here. You can say it correctly.
Ready.
What?
I'll do it next. I'll do a next review when there's a Pentagon match. I'll let you slide because you're my friend.
I mean, you're here now. Just say it.
Cero Miedo.
There we go. Woo. There's no enthusiasm. Anyway. So everyone hit their greatest hits in this match. Pentagon hits his Mexican Destroyer, which we inevitably knew was coming. And then
nice kicks
Package
too,
Power...
Omega.
He did get some nice kicks. At one point he hit a Package Power Driver, which he attempted like 2 or 3 times, and he finally hit it. And this was probably the closest to count I have ever seen. The referee's hand going to the mat, but stopping like 2 inches before, and it was just perfectly timed. This kick out was. I was literally like, that could end the match right there, and I would have believed it. I would not have been upset if Kenny lost, but I would have just been shocked.
I really thought Omega was gonna ruin this match.
Yeah, because you fucking hate Kenny Omega for no reason.
I don't hate him. I just think he.
You think he
tends
sucks?
to put on bad matches with really good people, which I don't understand.
Oh, oh yeah, forgot your WWE fanboy body slam, leg drop, Hulk Hogan, brother.
Anyway.
This match was good though.
Anyway, Kenny hit all his greatest hits. He hit like 4 or 5 different V triggers. Every time I see him hit 5 to 6 V triggers, I kind of roll my eyes like.
Pentagon countered 4 freaking one-winged angels 4 times.
Exactly. Well, not like count as in like he rolled out of it, more like he got out of it, but he still counted them. Up until Kenny hit him with like 3 consecutive V triggers, because after the first 2, he kept on saying "Cero miedo" and just like kept getting hit with it. After one vicious V trigger, Kenny followed it up with the one-winged angel for the pin, getting the win over Pentagon El Zero. And after the match, like literally 5 sets. Shut up. After the match, the lights go out. Now my stream, it just stops after the lights went out, and I was like losing my shit. Like, what's happening? And we're all like, it's CM Punk, it's Neville, it's this guy, it's that guy. I'm like, no one was literally expecting the person it would be who came out. Shut up. No, you words.
Like, fucking obvious.
It made the most sense though.
It did. Now, the way it's set up was Pentagon was still in the ring, but he ran at Kenny and he hit Kenny with a code breaker. He removed this mask, and it was fucking Chris Jericho.
Yeah, it was Carlito Caribbean.
Yeah, it was fucking Carlito under the mask.
Chris Jericho.
Fucking Chris Jericho. The man who said, "Oh, I'm not gonna be an all-in. You know, I'm not gonna compete in other companies, you know, in America because I got this strong relationship." He was fucking at All In.
That's because he wanted to promote his cruise.
Listen. No matter how you shape it, he was still on the fucking show. In the capacity of being on television, hitting a finisher, and speaking. I consider that him being a part of the show. Some of you might say, "Oh, well, you know, he only did this. He didn't actually wrestle." He was a part of the show. And all of you guys know how big of a Chris Jericho fan I...
compete in other companies in America, though. He didn't compete.
He didn't compete. That was the big loophole here. That was the really big loophole, is that he did not compete. He did hit a finisher, though, which I guess you can argue he got physical, but, you know, read into that what you will. It's his decision if he wants to burn bridges and create new relationships. That's all him. I ain't gonna say, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be," like, nah, I'm not that. It's Chris Jericho. I admire the guy. He's my all-time favorite. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. This maybe I marked that. You guys can vouch for me. I think I marked the fuck out maybe a little bit too much when he came out. I was losing my shit for like 5 minutes, and he said, "See you on a cruise," but yeah, he basically promoted his cruise, which I thought he was gonna be there for All In too, maybe, I don't know, but he threw it down, left the ring, and that was about it. Chris Jericho's hair is really growing. He's really growing his hair out, and so yeah, that happened. I'm still in awe, thinking that Chris Jericho was All In this whole time, and I didn't know about it. Then again, I guess if they would have advertised, it would have kind of just gave it away. But I'm still curious to see how Vince will react to Chris Jericho being on All In, because this is basically a Rebel, in a sense, a Rebel show to WWE, if you think about it, in a sense. And I know Chris Jericho's in under WWE contract,
Vince
but it's
hold
still,
like that
he doesn't hold grudges, but he be making some petty ass decisions. So, like I said, I'm really curious to see how he reacts to it. WWE is a petty ass company, so I can definitely see them doing some shady shit, or saying or doing some shady shit with Chris Jericho. And not that I think he would take it, but still. Anyway, that happened. We didn't get on to the next match, which was another good match. Kazuchika Okada versus Marty Scurll. Simple storyline here. Junior heavyweight. Marty Scurll, 205 Live, as Okada called him. Going up against a heavyweight. Because you know in New Japan, junior heavyweights compete with junior heavyweights. Heavyweights compete with heavyweights. That's kind of the basis of it. That's how it's stuck down. So, Marty never faced Okada because he's the top dog in Japan, basically. Top lion in Japan. Marty Scurll only been like IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion once. He's still kind of scratching the surface in a sense. That was kind of the story, and it worked. What were you about to say, Dane, before I cut you off? My bad.
Oh no, I just said this match was surprisingly really good.
Yeah, you went into this match with like hatred for Marty Scurll for whatever reason.
Because I don't know, he just came off as kind of, I don't know, typical 205 guy.
Typical 205 guy.
Where Okada has definitely impressed me before, so I had no doubt.
Okada is one of the greatest wrestlers, like, of all.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
I'm kidding, gosh.
What?
Ollie has some.
Oh, Ollie, would you like to speak up? Because you haven't been speaking this whole time. You over here chiming in.
I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't watch.
Mm-hmm.
I was gone for most of the show.
Exactly. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Over here saying, you're saying, yeah, it's saying shit. What do you got to say? What are your thoughts on Okada? Do you not like him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think he's definitely good.
Okay.
Did you just fucking say he's no Roman Reigns?
He's not.
Well, he's not Roman Reigns.
He's far superior.
Okay. You hate Roman Reigns.
Oh, hold up. Yeah, you do hate Roman Reigns because you're biased. Okada is.
I don't hate Roman Reigns. Who told you that?
You did?
Yeah, like 3 years ago, maybe. I don't hate Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I dislike Roman Reigns. I don't hate him.
This is gonna become the Roman Reigns rant.
No, it's not. This had nothing to do with Reigns until you fucking mentioned him.
I didn't mention him.
I mean, no, I did not at all have Roman Reigns on my mind until you brought it up. Anyway.
This match was excelente.
Excelente. It was, in the beginning, I felt like the pacing was very weird, odd. But once they started to get in the groove of things, it really started to get really good.
That's what Okada does. He kind of feels out his opponents in a lot of his matches, and I feel like that's what he was doing here.
Yeah.
The crowd was kind of annoying, though.
No, like, especially in this scenario, because, like you said so before, Okada just wrestles heavyweight, so wrestling someone, you know, obviously smaller than him, he had to find a legitimate way to adapt. So this was something new for him.
Especially because, like I said, they're doing the whole junior heavyweight versus heavyweight storyline, so a lot of this match is really Okada on the offense and Marty on the defense, trying to, you know, actually work around Okada and his offensive moves. And when Marty got offense in, the crowd was really behind him. Like, not like they were booing Okada, but Marty was the underdog in this match.
That fucking reversal of the Rainmaker was really fucking good.
It was.
Where he grabbed his fucking fingers.
Yeah, Okada went for the Rainmaker, grabbed his finger, and just snapped it. He snapped his fingers, like, I think, like, twice in this match, but I don't forgot what the second time was. Anyway, there was one point where Marty did lock in his crossface, in which I don't think anyone bought for a second that Okada was going to tap. Has Okada ever tapped? I'm sure he has, but I don't ever remember seeing Okada tap out in recent years.
I think he got it in twice, that submission lock, but he didn't fully have it in.
Yeah, he never couldn't lock it in because, like, I guess his arms were too short or whatever.
And then he turned into a fucking pin on fucking Marty Scurll, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, which he kicked out of it. Which led to, a little bit later on, Okada hitting Marty I don't know. Was it Marty that smacked him in the face? I think Marty. Yeah, he spit in the face of Okada, then he smacked him, which basically triggered Okada to go into killer mode, hitting it with a trusting Rainmaker, and then following it up, of course, with the Rainmaker for the pin. As I think no one would think otherwise, Okada defeated Marty Scurll.
Yeah, there was no fucking way Marty Scurll was gonna beat him.
No chance in hell.
And
Did you
if
believe that?
no, go ahead.
Did you actually believe 100 that Marty Scurll was gonna beat Okada?
I mean, because he's in Bullet Club.
It doesn't matter if you're in Bullet Club, bro. Like I said,
Dude, you're
the same
fucking
thing-
Okada.
No, look. Like
Who?
look at it this way. Look at it this way. Look at it this way. Like Omega, they will not let their top New Japan guys take the fall because New Japan, out of everybody that wrestles in Ring of Honor, New Japan, and Impact, New Japan is was the biggest brand for ALLIN. So you think they're gonna let their two Golden Boys take the fall for other people?
If Marty Scurll beat out Okada, that would have been like John Cena losing to fucking Cedric Alexander.
Yes.
It's I don't know about Cedric Alexander. More like Neville, if Neville were still in WWE, because Marty's no, Marty's not that. Shut
No,
up.
like Jack Gallagher beating Cena.
Jack Gallagher. Whoa.
Jack
Gallagher's good, and he's been in MMA.
Jack Gallagher beat Johnson.
Okay. I think Cedric Alexander was the best choice, but let's go to the main event.
Anyway,
Enough talk about real
if
wrestling. Go back to
the show would have ended on that match, I would have said this is a great show, maybe a good show. We got to the main event, and this from the entrance to the bell to the end was just a weird, rushed match. You guys could say I see people online say, "Oh my god, the match is amazing. It was this, it was that." Now maybe to people who were live in an arena, they experienced something different than I did. But watching at home, this match felt super rushed. Like they were test for time, and they were now immediately. It was 10:49 p.m. and I said, no, it was like 10:40 something, and I said, this match is not going to go that long. Because it feels like I feel like they're going to have to end it directly at 11 o'clock. Not because they're on TV, but because they're on like a network. So they can't go overtime. They have to end it at a specific time. So they can't go on that long. So Rey Mysterio's theme music hits, and he doesn't come out for like a minute. And I'm just... He didn't come out for a minute. I'm like, what's going on? So he comes out. Not Kota Ibushi. Phoenix and Bandito come out first, and it's like, huh? Then Rey Mysterio comes out, and he comes out as Wolverine.
Who sings Rey Mysterio's song?
I think Rey Mysterio does.
No, it's either Mad One or POD.
Never mind.
I don't know why when I first heard it.
POD used to do his song.
It sounds like the same guy from the. I mean, it sounds like the same guy from his WWE theme, but.
So I said either Mad One or POD. He said Mad One or POD.
Yeah, POD used to do his on WWE.
I don't know why I thought that was 6ix9ine.
Tekashi 6ix9ine sings Rey Mysterio's theme.
It sounded just like.
Shut up.
Anyway, so they come out, then the Golden Elite comes out all together.
They all together. Everyone came out together. Like no one got a separate entrance, which I thought was weird. At first,
well, those are the Golden Elite, so the Golden Elite makes sense. I remember Phoenix and
But they didn't even come out like take the Elite theme song or the Golden Star theme. It was weird. I don't know.
Like you said, it was like the most rushed main event ever. Like it was nothing but spots.
So the bell rings. The bell rings. Immediately, people get in the ring and they're doing flips all around. They're doing dives, one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Young Bucks in a nutshell. So.
Then they're doing planches. Then they get back into the ring and they're trading hurricanranas. I got hyped because Kota Ibushi and Rey Mysterio got into the ring. They had a nice sequence that lasted like 30 fucking seconds. And then everyone else got into the ring and they had to do shit too. And I'm like, I couldn't even fucking get a chance to actually witness Kota Ibushi and Rey Mysterio in the ring because 30 seconds later, the fucking Young Bucks got in the ring. And they started messing things up. Then Bandito. I couldn't even really get a chance to see Bandito. show off because every
There was
time
a
he started showing off,
619.
someone else came into the ring. It was like no one really had the spotlight in this match. Every single second, one person did something, the next person had to follow. Then the next it was like a fucking it was like a line. Like, okay, you go, then you go, then you go. Oh, wait, we can't forget about the Young Bucks. Oh, wait, now we have Kota Ibushi has to go next. Oh, wait. Now we're Phoenix. It was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, slow down.
Fucking Young Bucks, typical Young Bucks.
And as you're going, you're looking at the clock and you're like, we're getting closer and closer to 11 o'clock. Like, what's going to happen? And it just seems like it does not stop. And the spots, don't get me wrong, they were cool. But they were cool spots, but it was just, they were going so fast that you couldn't even process any of the spots. Because they kept on hitting them one after the other. And it was just really overwhelming. And I feel like that's part of the reason why I couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
it was
like
super overwhelming.
Yeah, it was rush there. Then out of nowhere, you just see more bang for your buck. 1, 2, 3, and boom. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I'm like, huh? The ending of the match just felt like it did. What? Like that's it?
You see the more, like I said, you see the more bang for your buck. I'm like, okay, the Young Bucks are hitting their tag team finisher. Kota Ibushi gets involved in it. That's a nice touch. 1, 2, 3. I'm like, wait, what? We're done.
And then it's like 10:58. They're celebrating. 10 seconds later, the show goes off air, and I'm like, "Yep, they were test for time.
Just hit the
they literally had
right
no time to celebrate, say thank. Like it just went off the air 10 seconds after the match. I was like, "What?"
Like I'm pretty sure the freaking fans in the live audience are pretty much seeing the celebration themselves. So we'll probably.
We did. I was immediately after the show ended. I went on Twitter like, "Hey, is there something going on? Did I miss something?" Like. It just fucking ended as soon as the match ended. Like, I didn't even see a celebration happen. So that was just weird. Like, if that main event never happened, I would not have had an issue with this show. That main event seemed so unnecessary. It felt like a dark match. It felt like a dark match.
No, if anything, I'm going to be honest with you, that should have been the opener, if anything.
It should have been the opener. It should have been.
You need a high-flying match to freaking pump up the fans. Like, if that was the first match of the night, dude, and everything else happened in the same sequence, I wouldn't have minded. I would have thought it would have been a perfect show.
The match card in general just seems so mixed match. Like, most of the matches seem like they were so out of place with the card. Like, how do you start off the show with, like...
With MJF?
That's fine, I can understand that. But then you get into, like, the women's match... Then you get into fucking Nick Aldis and Cody. It's like, huh? Then you get into the street fight. Then you get into the Ring of Honor Championship match. Then you get into, like, the other match. Then you get into, like, Kenny Omega and Pentagon. Then after Kenny and Pentagon, you get into Okada and Marty. It's like, who mapped this out?
No, I'm going to tell you this now. Here's how I would have booked it, in my opinion. Like, the matches are all fine. Like, in the order of the sequence. My first match of the night would have been, you know, the 6-man, you know, to pump up, you know, have them hyped up, like, yeah, high spots everywhere, blah, 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 blah. Then have MJF's match, and you know what, like, have the fans cool down, you know, calm down, take a breather. Then the women's match comes in. Then I would have done, you know, probably... I would have said Jay Lethal and Flip Gordon, and then Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis, just switch up those world title matches.
No, I don't like that.
Oh, how about this?
I think you should have switched the Omega match and the Okada match, and then put that other one as the opener, like you were saying.
The 6-man?
Yeah, so it could have ended with Omega in Pentagon, and the 6-man could have opened the show.
Yeah, that would have worked too. But also, like I said, Marty Scurll and Okada wasn't really that bad of a match. They could have main evented as well.
There's a lot of things that could have main evented, but this match had no place being the main event. No place being the main event of the show. Especially how rushed it felt at the end. Yeah, this match should not have happened.
See, I didn't want to compare. No, I didn't want to compare it to a WWE match. But hell, even Lesnar and Roman Reigns match at SummerSlam felt longer than this match.
It was. This match probably went like no longer than 10, 12 minutes. It was short. And part of the reason why I
just
fell
feel
short is
like
because you couldn't process anything.
Okada and Scurll could have been the fucking match before the main event, because it could have been, setting up for the main event.
Was almost 12 minutes.
And then the main event could have been the Omega match, because that would have made sense. They just didn't know what their priorities was. They didn't know who they wanted in the main event, it seemed.
Yeah, you could tell.
Well, I mean, now they announced the main event a week in advance. I feel like what happened was they didn't expect for the show to extend out as long as it did. And when they realized they didn't have enough time, they were like, oh shit, we kind of have to speed things along.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I felt like when Rey Mysterio's music hit, it took so long for them to come out to the ring. Because they had to be talking about something for them to be stalling for an entire minute. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah. They probably, the Bucks and probably talked to like, hey, we only got X amount of time, we gotta do this and do that. That's why Rey Mysterio was like, fuck, fine.
They said it was 11 minutes.
No,
11:48.
Yeah, like I said, I bet you they did everything on the fly. That looked like on the fly stuff.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they had enough time to really do anything. And when they did stuff, it was good, but like I said, because it was right after the other, it's like I couldn't process anything. I can't really remember a single spot from this match.
No, you couldn't. Like I said, like for me, I can vouch for the Lucha Libre guys because they're fresh out of Triple Mania. You're like, oh my, like you're looking at Phoenix and you're like, oh, he's the AAA World Champion, but we barely gave a shit. Bandito's becoming one of the top prospects in their tag team division. Rey Mysterio, obviously, he's a legend, so you don't need explanation. But the other partners are like, oh, they're just there because they're luchadors.
I can remember a couple moments from the match, but nothing like too big. Like I can remember the Meltzer thing they were gonna do, which got fucking reversed.
Let's see what else. The transition, the 619 multi combo moves that they did.
Dives at one point.
They did this spot off the top rope too.
Yeah, that and also like
didn't Bandito do like a triple hurricanrana at one point that didn't make any fucking sense?
Yeah, and then like
that doesn't even seem possible to do a triple hurricanrana. Literally, he put his legs around two people and the middle person flipped as well. It's like that didn't make any sense.
No,
logically.
But like I said, everybody was like salivating at seeing Ibushi versus Rey Mysterio. They're like, oh my god, like strong style versus lucha. Like, what are we gonna see? What are we gonna see? That you see that rush? I'm like, really, 30 seconds? Like I said, this match was like placed in the wrong position. Like I said, if it was supposed to be a 10-minute bout, like I said, started off in the match, it's nothing but high spots and all that stuff. Calm them down, like hype them up, calm them down with MJF's match, do the women's match, keep all this in Lethal, no, keep all this in Rhodes, sorry, in that match. Probably put in Jay Lethal and Flip Gordon, and then after that do Adam Page and Joey Janela, because their match was pretty dope too.
If you jump to the Divas match, where's Christopher Daniels and the Stephen Amell match gonna go?
Oh shit, I forgot about Stephen Amell.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for me, as much as I didn't like the placement of all the matches on the show, as long as this match didn't go on last, and the last match, in my opinion, should have been Kenny and Pentagon, because of the way it ended, I felt like Kenny and Pentagon should have went on last, honestly.
Yeah, it was advertised as being like a big deal, so I mean...
Yeah, because like I said, if like me, I watched Being the Elite, it even said Kenny Omega in the semi-main event against Pentagon. I'm like, really, the semi-main event? But I'm like, you put Okada and Scurll there.
And I know, listening back, it's going to sound like, oh, this guy's just shitting on the show. He hated the show. I swear to you guys, I did not hate this. As much as it sounds like I probably did, I did not hate this show. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. It just, the way certain things played out, and the way the matches were lined up, and just the main event in general, just, it's like, you could tell these weren't like guys who, this is the first time they probably booked the show before. I'm not saying that they probably have no experience, but they probably were stressed out and had stuff going on, and it's like, yeah, I can understand that they run into some issues, but you could tell.
Yeah,
I'm not
like I
gonna.
said,
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm sure WWE would not have ran stuff together the way that these guys did. I'm sure it would have been slightly better planned out. And that's not to
Maybe,
knock on them because they put together a great independent show.
maybe if All In 2 happens, it will be a little
I
better.
think if there's
organized.
an All In 2, it will be way better positioned than this. Not to say this was a shitty show, because it wasn't, but it could have been way better. Way
like
better.
I said to the fans, to the people that are listening to this, review, you can hear us. We do not hate this card at all. If anything, we praised a lot of look at us, dude. We praised the campiness of Flip Gordon versus Jay Lethal. We marked the fuck out of that. Freaking Adam Page and Joey Janela. Like, to some people, they don't really know who they are unless you're like hardcore smart or a Bullet Club fan. And we praised the.
Like, yeah, I don't hate the show. I don't dislike the show. I just felt like it could have been better. Like, if you asked me what would I give this show, I probably would tell you it's either a solid 7 or 7.5. I don't think it's an 8. I don't think it's a 9. I don't think it's a 10. It's
Which one?
A 7 or
I'd give it
7.5.
like a 6.5.
Now that's kind of low. I don't know about 6.5, but it's definitely in that 7 range.
Wait, which match are we talking about?
The
The
show entire
show as a whole.
as a whole.
Oh no, like I said, I wouldn't give it a 6. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I think 6 is kind of
6.5.
low.
Like,
No, dude, it was a solid. Like I said, for an independent show on a decent network pay-per-view. I'm giving it a hardcore C, like a 75%.
And maybe part of the reason why I'm judging it so hard is because I paid $40 for it. I feel like that's part of the reason why I'm judging it really
I feel
critically.
like you guys.
If this was on the WWE Network, something I paid $10 a month for, I felt like I would have been a little bit more, on a bright side about things. But because this is like one of the first actual pay-per-views I bought, I had higher expectations, and because they didn't really,
Like I said, dude, your different Dane, your different type of critique is different from ours. Like I said, I'm giving it like a solid 7.
But when there's four really solid matches that you have that are really good, but out of like fucking 9 matches.
Dude, don't even. Are you? Like I said, let's see. The opening match, it was okay.
It was passable. It was good.
The women's
I don't know.
match. Let's see. The women's match was a clusterfuck. Let's all admit it.
Next match was a clusterfuck as well. It had a good story, but it's a clusterfuck.
Let's see. Stephen Amell and Christopher Daniels was a nice little, Like I said, we even forgot about Christopher Daniels versus Stephen Amell. Like that's when we could take that out because it was a man match because no one really paid attention to it. Really, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I said it had 4 solid. It was Hangman Page and Joey Janela, fucking Jay Lethal and Flip Gordon, Kenny Omega and Pentagon, fucking Okada and fucking Scurll, and those are the main matches.
Yeah, like I said, if you put those as the closing matches, it put everything backwards, I would have loved it.
When it was really good, it was really good, but the fact that not every match on the card is up to standard with those 4 matches, it's kind of weird.
Look at it this way. Like I said, if they switch the placement of it, like I said, if they put if they just put the main event in the opener and switch Okada's and Omega's match, a perfect card. I would have given it a higher rank because they would have been like, okay, like, all right, then we would have had a high match, warm up, calm them down, and then just shove it up to acceleration to 100.
We'll see. We'll see next year.
Next year.
But anyway, what were your opinions on the show? What did you think about the show overall?
That was alright.
What's your rating?
He doesn't care.
I mean,
What's
only
your
paid
rating?
attention to the Omega, Penta, and Scurll and Okada match.
Those were the other ones you liked. Oh yeah, you weren't there for Flip Gordon.
He
and,
didn't see
there for
all of
most
it.
of it.
What do you rate what you saw then?
What would I rate?
Yeah, what you saw. I guess you saw most of the good matches.
I guess 6.5.
Damn.
Yeah, see?
Well, that basically averages out to about a 7.
no, hold
4
up.
out of 10.
Which on
If you want to say 7, it's not that much more.
4 out of 10.
It's
Four
not
out of-
fucking.
Stop
You're
it.
so full of shit.
Yeah, you're FOS. Anyway, guys, like I
That's
said,
gonna be a
all
Marsden
in
type rating.
overall was I would say it was a good show. Was
All
it
in-
worth
all in-
$40? I do not think it was worth $40. I do
Yeah.
not think it was
$40
$40.
And a pack of Tic Tacs.
I'm not saying I was disappointed in the show, but if someone watched it, if I watched this and someone asked me, would you pay $40 for this show on DVD? I would say no. I would not.
I would pay 10 to like watch it.
I would pay
Yeah.
20, maybe 25. 40?
20 's
No.
good.
I would not. I would
fair.
not. I would
I
not
got
have
no-
paid
I
$40
got no
for the show.
money to-
I would
That's
say
not to
20 's
say.
fair.
That is not to say that I would have totally skipped out on this show because I wouldn't have. And the only reason I paid $40 is because I wanted to support him and because I couldn't make it to the show live. But in retrospect,
You want views?
was not worth $40. I would have definitely signed up for Honor Club just to watch the show. That being said, guys, that was our all-in review. Thank you all for listening again. Comment down below your opinions on the show. What did you like about this review? Tell us that you thought that our opinion sucks because we shat on the indies way too much, because we're WWE fanboys and shit. Anyway, I love you
No,
guys
we're TNA
always.
soldiers.
These TNA soldiers die
I
or
won't be
try.
bearing
I don't
down,
know.
so I can tell you that.
Anyway, love you guys always, and I'll talk to you later.